The story begins with Tara, who is getting ready for an online date with a guy. She has spent quite a bit of money on her outfit, even ordering a brand new pair of pencil heels just for the occasion. After getting all dressed up, she meets the guy, spends some time with him, and later, he drops her off at her home. But someone is watching them from a distance. As soon as the guy leaves, Tara steps inside and shuts the door. At least, she thinks she does. But before it fully closes, a shoe wedges in the gap. It's him, the serial killer who preys on women living alone. And this time, Tara has become his target. The next evening, we see Ava sitting in a restaurant. It's her birthday today. She's turning 30. But instead of feeling excited, there's a sadness lurking beneath her smile. This year has been rough. After being in a relationship with Jack for 8 years, he left her. And to top it off, her career isn't in great shape either. Everything in her life feels like a mess. But despite all that, tonight she's happy. Because no matter what, her friends have always stood by her. Meet Kelly, Anthony, and Robin, Eva's ride-or-die squad. After a little emotional speech about life's struggles, the group decides to shake it off. And boy, do they go all in. The drinks keep flowing, and before long, Kelly is completely wasted. She turns to Eva and slurs, "Don't stress, babe. This year you're definitely gonna find true love. I pray for you day and night, and I know someone's gonna come into your life and adore you." Robin nods, raising her glass. "Exactly. Forget Jack. Download a dating app, find a hot guy, and have some fun. You deserve to be happy, girl. Don't waste another second thinking about that loser." But Anthony doesn't agree, and there's a reason for that. The swipe right killer. That's what the police are calling him, the serial killer targeting women through dating apps. Robin rolls her eyes. "Come on, I'm not going to lock myself in my house because of some psycho. Why should I let fear ruin my nights?" They all have their own opinions, but in the end, the decision is Eva's to make. After returning home, Eva couldn't stop thinking about it. She kept telling herself that her mustache-wearing Jack would definitely come back. But then she heard something. Someone was unlocking the door, completely silent. Heart pounding, Eva pressed herself against the wall, hiding. And then a figure stepped inside. A masked person. Without hesitation, Eva lunged at them, ready to fight. But as soon as she got a good look, she realized it was her older sister, Valerie. Valerie had been worried sick about Eva, especially with everything happening in the city. The recent attacks had made her anxious, and she didn't want Ava to end up as the next victim. That's why she had come over, to set up a security system for her. But Ava just scoffed. "I don't need this. Jack will come crawling back as soon as he gets bored of those random girls." That's when Valerie decided to shut down Eva's delusion once and for all. She pulled out a photo and held it up. It was Jack, standing next to his new girlfriend, who also happened to be his police colleague. Reality hit Ava like a truck. She clenched her fists. "I wasted 8 years of my life on that loser, and this is what I get in return? I can't believe he tied himself to that fat cow." And just like that, her mind cleared. All the doubts, all the hopes of Jack coming back, gone. For the first time, she felt free. Ava turned to Valerie, gave a quick, "Thanks for the security system," and immediately pushed her out the door. Because now, she had a whole new mission. That night, she called Robin. "I need a dating profile. Now." Within minutes, Robin had her account set up, and the floodgates opened. Messages started pouring in. While scrolling through profiles, Ava spotted a familiar face. Kyle, her middle school friend. But as soon as he recognized her, he went offline. A few moments later, his profile was completely deleted. Weird. Ignoring that, she continued swiping, until she found someone interesting. Mitch. Something about him felt right. The next evening, Ava got ready to meet Mitch. As she headed out, she plugged in her earphones and played her favorite true crime podcast. Tonight's episode, The Swipe Right Killer. The host described how the killer left no traces behind. No hair, no fingerprints. The only thing ever found at the crime scenes? An empty bottle of rosé wine. No glass, which meant the killer drank straight from the bottle. As Ava walked to her date, she suddenly felt a presence behind her, like someone was following her. Heart pounding, she spun around. Nothing. Brushing it off, she kept going and finally met Mitch. But the moment she saw him, she was shocked. He was way more muscular than she had expected. Originally, they had planned to meet at her place, but Mitch gestured around and smirked. "Consider this bar my home," he said. Turns out, he owned the place. They talked for hours, and everything seemed to be going well. until Eva noticed something strange. Mitch didn't have any fingerprints. When she asked about it, he casually replied, "Burned them off in a kitchen accident. Happens all the time." She let it go until Valerie suddenly screamed. Eva turned shocked to see her sister standing there, so she was the one following her earlier. Furious, Eva stormed up to her. "What the hell are you doing here?" Valerie glared at Mitch. "I knew something was off. Last night you were rushing into this so fast I thought you'd make a mistake. And look, he doesn't have fingerprints. And guess what? He drinks straight from the bottle, just like the swipe right killer." Eva rolled her eyes. "You're being ridiculous. Do you know the actual chances of meeting a serial killer on a dating app? Almost zero. I read about it online." Ignoring Valerie's warning, she invited Mitch over to her place that very night, and of course he accepted. As Eva walked away, she shot her sister a final warning. "Stop following me or you'll regret it." Later that night, after Mitch had left, Eva decided to mess with Valerie a little. She sent her a voice message. "Guess what, ma'am? You were wrong. I'm still alive." Just then, a message popped up from Kyle, her old middle school friend. Apparently, he had been blowing up her phone, desperate to take her out on a date. They ended up chatting late into the night, which is why the next morning Eva slept in hard until the doorbell rang. She groggily opened the door and whoa, standing there was the most gorgeous man she'd ever seen. And suddenly she felt butterflies in her stomach. This was exactly the kind of guy she was looking for. Turns out his name was Norman, and he was from Armored Guardian Security. He was there to take measurements for installing her security system. Eva let him in, sighing, "I've been feeling pretty lonely these days. And with the swipe right killer running around, things are getting worse." Norman chuckled. "Yeah, but honestly, it's been great for our business. People are installing security systems like crazy." Eva smirked. "Guess that means you've been super busy, huh?" Norman immediately picked up on her tone, but instead of flirting back, he got straight to work. Then he did something that made him seem suspicious. Could he be the swipe killer, the one who lures lonely girls into his trap before making them his prey? Well, whatever the case, after finishing his work, he asked Eva out on a date. That's exactly what Eva had been trying to get him to say. They set their date for the following Thursday. Eva met her close friend Kelly and told her all about the whirlwind of events from the past couple of days. When Kelly heard about Mitch, she was shocked. Today was Kelly's wedding anniversary. Dressed up as a bride again, she was getting a photo shoot done to relive that special moment and send the pictures to her husband as a sweet reminder. While posing for the photos, she gave Eva some serious advice. Men don't marry one-night stands. If she wanted a husband, she needed to avoid such things, at least for the first 3 dates. As they talked, Kelly's photo shoot wrapped up. Eva proudly claimed that she had taken some amazing shots, only to find out later that not a single good one had come out. Some were even way too inappropriate. That night, news broke about another girl being murdered. This time, the swipe killer had made a mistake. The police found shoe prints near the body, size 10. Hearing this, Eva realized one thing. She had to be wary of men who wore size 10 shoes. Right then, she decided to delete all her dating apps. Now she had to choose between Kyle, Mitch, and Norman for something serious. Kelly advised her to check their shoe sizes, especially Mitch's. After all, Eva had been seeing Mitch almost every evening for the past few days, and strangely enough, he didn't even have fingerprints. Still, when Eva met Mitch again, she brushed aside all those thoughts and agreed to go to his place. He wanted to cook for her, to show her that he was the perfect guy for her. By now, Eva knew everything about Mitch's home and work, but she had never shared much about herself. When he asked, she was simply said that she worked as an assistant at Kelly's studio. Last year, when her mother was sick, working with Kelly allowed her to care for her mom while earning a living. Even after her mother passed away, Eva never left Kelly's side because Kelly had been there for her in her hardest times. They were more than friends. They were family. As soon as Eva got the chance, she checked Mitch's shoe size, size 10. Her heart nearly stopped. Just then, Mitch walked toward her from the kitchen, holding a knife. She froze in fear, but Mitch just wanted to ask her something that had been on his mind for a while. Was she just using him to satisfy her desires? Eva somehow calmed him down and made an excuse to leave. That was it. Mitch was out of the picture. Now she was down to just 2 options. One of them was her date for the next morning. That guy was Kyle, someone she had known since middle school. While talking, he shared a little about his life. He was a veterinarian and had been alone since his wife passed away last year. Before he could finish his story, some loud, annoying guy interrupted them. As Kyle stood up to handle the situation, Eva saw her chance. She quickly checked his shoe size. Unfortunately, it was also a size 10. That was enough for Eva. She made up some excuse and got the hell out of there. Later that evening, Eva was walking home, listening to a true crime podcast, when she noticed a guy following her. Then, out of nowhere, he started running toward her. Her heart pounded. She sprinted as fast as she could, until Kelly suddenly appeared out of nowhere. They almost crashed into each other. Turns out the guy just wanted to return her earbud, which she had dropped on the way. Before leaving, he muttered, "Not every guy is bad, you know." Eva took a deep breath and turned to Kelly. "What are you even doing here?" Kelly admitted she had been secretly keeping an eye on her because she was worried. Eva sighed. "I'm fine. Can you stop playing detective? How long are you going to keep this up?" Kelly finally gave in and headed home. The next morning, Norman showed up at Eva's place to install a security system. As soon as he walked in, Eva asked him to take off his shoes so he could work more comfortably. But Norman refused. "It's a safety risk. I don't take risks." So he kept his shoes on. After finishing the job, they made plans to go on a date that evening. But before the date even started, Norman got an emergency call and had to leave. Eva was curious. What kind of emergency? Could Norman be the swipe killer? Determined to find out, Eva and Anthony followed him. A few miles later, Norman stopped outside a house. They watched as he rushed to the door, almost like he was breaking in. From where they were parked, it was hard to see what was happening. Suddenly, the house lights started flickering. Then, through the curtain, they saw a shadowy figure lifting something, or someone. Eva and Anthony stayed hidden in the car, trying to process what they just saw. Was Norman really the killer? Had they just caught him in the act? The next moment, Norman stepped out carrying 2 plastic bags, loaded them into his car, and drove off. Eva watched in shock. "We need to go inside and check. There might be someone else in danger." Inside, they found a disabled girl who seemed uneasy. They made up some excuse and quickly left. Some detectives they were. In just 1 minute, they had already decided Norman was the swipe killer and solved the case. Just then, Norman called Eva, and they met again. This time, he opened up about his disabled sister. She never relied on anyone and always took care of herself. But today, she had called him for help. Norman thought she might be sick, so he rushed to her. Turns out she was fine. It was just a problem with the lights. That's when Eva noticed his shoes. The size was marked 43. Norman lived alone and his place was a mess, stuff lying all over the place. Then, inside his bedroom, Eva spotted a women's sandal. Norman casually said, "It's my sister's," but she was disabled. Why would she own a sandal like this? Right then, Eva realized this sandal belonged to another woman, one Norman was trying to hide. Their conversation slowly turned into an argument, and the tension in the air grew thick. After leaving Norman's house, Eva immediately looked up a shoe size conversion chart online. Size 43 was a size 10 in the US. Her hand started shaking. Could Norman really be the killer? In a panic, she fumbled with her purse and everything inside spilled onto the ground. A girl nearby noticed and bent down to help her pick up the scattered items. Eva's eyes landed on the girl's feet, gold-colored sandals. Her house was just a few blocks away from Norman's. The next day, that same girl was found dead. The swipe killer had struck again. Eva's heart sank. Her suspicions about Norman only grew stronger. She immediately called her sister, Valerie. Without wasting any time, Valerie started digging into Norman's past. Turns out, back in 2004, burglars had broken into Norman's house. They killed his parents. His sister was shot in the legs, leaving her permanently paralyzed. Just as Norman walked into the house, the burglars ran off. Could past trauma turn him into a killer? Valerie believed that people who go through deep trauma often end up becoming serial killers. On top of that, Norman wore a size 10 shoe, and the last person seen with the girl in gold sandals was him. Eva rushed to the police station to report everything. She was waiting for Jack when suddenly Kyle video called her. He was apologizing for the other day. He thought she left because he had beaten up that random guy. To make up for it, he even bought the guy a new guitar as a peace offering. "So, do you forgive me now? Can we go on another date?" But Eva didn't have time for this. She immediately told her ex, Jack, everything about Norman. Jack laughed. "Okay, so he wears a size 10 shoe. Big deal. We need something stronger. The police had kept one crucial detail from the public. The swipe killer always took one sandal from his victims as a trophy. Eva's mind raced. She had seen a sandal in Norman's house. What if they searched his place and found more? But for that, they needed a warrant, which wouldn't happen based on some wild theories. Jack mentioned they had found some DNA at a crime scene. If they could somehow get Norman's DNA and match it, they'd have solid proof. Eva didn't waste time. She went straight to Norman's place. Norman seemed guilty about last night. I'm really sorry about everything. But Eva wasn't there for an apology. She was there for his DNA. Pretending to look for her lost earring, she snooped around his bedroom. But there was nothing. So, thinking fast, she got close to him and accidentally scratched his skin, pulling out some hair. Then she quickly made an excuse and bolted. Now, it was Jack's job. I'll send this to the lab, he said. But until we get the results, don't go home. Remember, Norman installed your security system. It's not safe. Eva tried calling her sister and some friends, but no one picked up. Frustrated, she had no choice but to go home. And just as she feared, Norman showed up. Eva panicked. She told him to stay back and threatened to call the cops. Norman was confused. Why are you acting like I'm some kind of psycho? Her nosy neighbor started recording the whole thing, forcing Norman to leave. After that, Eva called Valerie again, but she was busy. She was out of options. So she turned to Kyle. At his place, she told him everything. The guy she was dating turned out to be the swipe killer. I just need to stay here until Valerie or one of my friends calls me back. Kyle smiled. Of course. Think of this as your home. There's a bathroom upstairs if you want to freshen up. As soon as Eva went upstairs, Kyle gulped down his wine like he'd never had a drink before. Something felt off. As soon as Eva went upstairs, she quickly sent Valerie her location, hoping she'd come pick her up. Then she headed to the shower. Meanwhile, her phone started buzzing with multiple calls from Valerie. But since it was on vibrate, Eva didn't notice. On the other side, a panicked Valerie called Kelly, telling her that Eva was at Kyle's place, and Kyle was the swipe killer. They had never dug too deep into Kyle's past because they already knew him. But the truth, Kyle was married and his wife was still alive. On top of that, he had lied about being a veterinarian. The real vet was actually his wife's brother, who traveled every summer. That meant the house Eva was in right now, it wasn't even Kyle's. It belonged to his wife's brother. Kyle was nothing more than a pet sitter and had several cases filed against him. Most importantly, he had arrived in town just 2 days before the first swipe right murder. Eva was listening to the voice message when suddenly Kyle crept up behind her and startled her. Snatching her phone, he scoffed, "You're just like all the others. You'd date that serial killer over me, a nice guy? I did everything for you. I even shaved my chest hair for you." Eva tried to stay calm. "If you're really such a nice guy, then let me go." But Kyle wasn't about to let this opportunity slip away. Eva kicked him and tried to run, but he grabbed her again. Then, out of nowhere, someone stabbed Kyle from behind. It was Kelly. Kyle gasped, trying to pull the knife from his back. Kelly forced Eva to pull out the knife because if Kyle got his hands on it, he would kill them both. So Eva had no choice but to take it out. After that, Kelly took her to the car. Before calling the police, she said she needed to wipe off the fingerprints from the knife. Even though it was self-defense, they still had to be careful. Kelly left Eva in the car, grabbed a bag, and went to get rid of the evidence. Just then, her phone rang. The phone was right there, so Eva checked it, but there was no new message. That's when she noticed a bunch of phones inside the dashboard. One of them kept getting texts from a girl named Amber, asking to meet for a date. She also saw that dating apps were open on the other phones. What was going on? Eva rushed inside and saw Kelly putting shoes on Kyle. They were the exact kind of shoes the swipe killer wore. Seeing Eva, Kelly said, "I told you to wait in the car. Why did you come inside?" Eva replied, "Some girl named Amber is texting over and over, asking for a date. Who is she?" Kelly was about to tell Eva everything about how her husband had left her, but instead she pointed to the shoes, saying she found them in Kyle's closet. Not just shoes, there were a bunch of sandals too. But wait, when Eva checked earlier, she didn't see any shoes like that. And the biggest question, how did Kelly even know about the sandals when the police had kept that information a secret? Before Eva could say anything, Kelly started confessing on her own. It all began exactly 8 months ago. Back then, Her husband was cheating on her and dating a girl named Tara. Kelly followed Tara to her house and killed her. She wore her husband's shoes so it would look like a man committed the murder. Then she took one of Tara's sandals and planned to leave it at her husband's house. But then she had a brilliant idea. From that day on, she started targeting women who cheated on their husbands. Kelly created fake male profiles on dating apps, lured those women in, and killed them. According to her, she was actually saving marriages from falling apart. That's when Eva shouted, "It's not just women who cheat. Men do it too. People make mistakes, but sometimes they also change." Ironically, the same thing had happened to Kelly. She was planning to pin all these murders on her husband. But then, she got a message from him. He was ashamed for leaving her and wanted to come back. They were together again now, which meant Kelly had to put the blame for these murders on someone else. Then, she got a call from Valerie. That's when she came up with a plan to frame Kyle. Now that Eva knew the truth, she had to die too. Suddenly, Kelly lunged at her, but Eva fought back, hitting her with a sandal and injuring her. Just then, police cars pulled up outside. Turns out, Valerie had called Jack 7 times to save Eva. She also sent him the address, the same one Eva had texted her earlier.